Hello and welcome to Excellence Classes. I am Rahul Nandavani and today we are going to discuss the 10th chapter of Introductory Microeconomics, which is Producers Equilibrium. So before we begin, I request you to please subscribe this channel and press the bell icon for the latest video updates. Now, Producers Equilibrium is a situation in which producer gets maximum profit. Now, profit is a financial gain, or we can also say that it is an advantage or benefit of doing a business. Profit is generally calculated as the difference between the total revenue and the total cost of a firm. In economics, profit is denoted by pi. Therefore, pi is equals to the total revenue minus the total cost of a firm. Now, there are different kinds of profits, and the first one is an economic profit, or it is also known as loss. Now, economic profit or loss is the difference between the revenue received from the sale of an output and the cost of all the inputs used, as well as any opportunity costs. Economic profits can be calculated as total revenue minus total cost, and total cost includes both the explicit cost and the implicit cost. Second one is the accounting profit. Accounting profit is a company's total earnings calculated according to the generally accepted accounting principle. Accounting profits can be calculated as total revenue minus the total cost, and total cost includes only the explicit cost. Third one is the gross profit. Now, gross profit is a company's profit before deducting the operating expenses, interest payments, and the taxes. Now, gross profit can be calculated as total revenue minus the total variable cost. And the last one is the net profit. Now, net profit is a company's profit after deducting the operating expenses, interest payments, and the taxes. Now, net profit can be calculated as total revenue minus the total cost, and total cost includes all the expenses. Now, next topic is levels of profits. So there are three levels of profits, and the first one is the abnormal profits or supernormal profits, or it is also known as pure profits. Abnormal profits is a situation in which total revenue of a firm is greater than the total cost, or average revenue of a firm is greater than the average cost of a firm. The second one is normal profit or zero profits. In this scenario, total revenue of a firm is equals to the total cost, or we can also say that the average revenue of a firm is equals to the average cost of a firm. And the last one is the subnormal profits or losses. In this scenario, total revenue of a firm is less than the total cost, or we can also say that the average revenue of a firm is less than the average costs. Now, when there is increase in the expenses, the total expenses exceeds the total revenue, therefore it is a situation of losses. Now, moving forward to our most important topic of this chapter, which is producers equilibrium. Now, there are two approaches to producers equilibrium, and the first one is total revenue and total cost approach, and the second one is the marginal revenue and marginal cost approach. TR and TC approach is not in our syllabus, so we will only study the MR and MC approach to producers equilibrium in this chapter. Through MR and MC approach, a producer will be in equilibrium when MR is equals to MC and MC is rising. Now, there can be two cases in producers equilibrium MR and MC approach. First one is when price is constant, and the second one is when price is not constant. So in the first case, when price is constant, the average and the marginal revenue will be equals to the price, and the total revenue or TR will increase at a constant rate. So let's understand this concept with the help of a schedule and curve where market price is fixed at ₹12 per unit. Now, in the schedule you can see that price is equals to the MR, and we will not make a column for AR because it is not needed in this concept. MR can be calculated as TRN minus 1. For example, at second unit of output, MR is equals to TRN minus 1, which is equals to 24 minus 12 is equals to 12, and so on. We can also calculate MC as TCN minus TCN minus 1. For example, at second unit of output, MC is equals to TCN minus TCN minus 1, which is equals to 25 minus 13 is equals to 12. And we all have understood before that profit can be calculated as total revenue minus the total cost. For example, at first unit of output, profit is equals to TR minus TC, which is equals to 12 minus 13 is equals to minus 1. Now minus 1 here represent that there is a loss of 1 rupee. Now the producer will be in equilibrium when MR is equals to MC and MC is rising, hence profit is maximized. In this example, you can see that MR is equals to MC at two places. First one is at second unit of output and the second one is at fifth unit of output. But after second unit of output, MC is not rising and profit is also not maximized. Whereas at fifth unit of output, all the conditions of producer's equilibrium are satisfied, that is MR is equals to MC, which is equals to 12, and MC is rising and the profit is also maximum, which is rupees 6. Therefore, the producer will be in equilibrium at fifth unit of output. Now let's understand the other case when price is not constant with the help of a schedule and a curve. In the schedule, you can see that MR can be calculated as TRN minus 1. So at second unit of output, MR is equals to 14 minus 8 is equals to 6 and so on. And MC can also be calculated as TCN minus 1. So at second unit of output, MC is equals to 11 minus 6 is equals to 5, and profit at all levels of output can be calculated as TR minus TC. So at second unit of output, profit is equals to 14 minus 11 is equals to 3 and so on. In this case, the producer will be in equilibrium at third unit of output because here all the conditions of producer's equilibrium MR and MC approach are satisfied. That is, MR is equals to MC, which is equals to the 4, and MC is rising after third unit of output, and profit is also maximum, which is equals to rupees 3. Now as it is the conditions of producer's equilibrium that MR should be equals to MC for the attainment of producer's equilibrium. Now what if MR is not equals to the MC? If MR is not equals to the MC, there can be two situations. Either MR can be greater than MC or MR can be less than MC. Now if MR is greater than MC, additional unit of output leads to the additional revenue than the additional cost of production. In this scenario, by increasing the output, profit would also rise. Therefore, the producer will produce more to maximize the profit, and when the profit is maximized, MR is equals to MC and MC will start rising. Then the producer will be in equilibrium. On the other hand, if MR is less than MC, additional unit of outputs leads to the additional cost than the additional revenue. In this scenario, by cutting short the output, profit would increase. Therefore, the producer will cut short the output to maximize the profit and attain the equilibrium. The second condition of producer's equilibrium says that MC should be rising. Now we will understand that why the MC should be rising. If MC is not rising but falling at the point of equilibrium, the firm should be enjoying increasing returns to a factor. Stopping output when returns are rising would amount to losing profits, which the firm can earn by increasing the output. Therefore, if MC is not rising, then the producer have the opportunity to maximize the profit. That is why MC should be rising. Because when it starts rising, the profit of the producer will be maximum. Now the last topic of this chapter is the distinguish between the break-even point and the shutdown point. In microeconomics, break-even point is a point at which total revenue of a firm is equals to the total cost of a firm, or we can also say that the average revenue of a firm is equals to the average cost of a firm. Whereas in microeconomics, shutdown point is a point at which total revenue of a firm is equals to the total variable cost, or we can also say that the average revenue of a firm is equals to the average variable cost. In the case of break-even point, a firm is just covering all its costs, namely the fixed cost and the variable cost, whereas in shutdown point, a firm is just covering its variable cost. Break-even point is also known as net profit, whereas shutdown point is also known as gross profit. So this was all about the 10th chapter of Introductory Microeconomics, Producers Equilibrium. Thank you for watching this video.